Welcome back to Steve's Project Car Garage. My name is Steve. Today's going to be a short video. I wanted to just give you guys a couple of updates on Project Tanker. So, yesterday I actually was able to go ahead and lay down the Raptor liner in the car, and it looks fantastic. I'll have a video coming out about that here shortly. But for the last couple of days, I've been planting little Easter eggs on my posts on both Instagram and Facebook, talking about something that I'm really excited about. This is a piece of the car that's going to make this build that much better, and it's going to really take it to the next level. So, without further ado, let me show you what it is that I'm talking about. This is an overdrive transmission. That's right. Finally got my hands on one. I've been looking for one for about a year and a half or so, and my friend Noah actually hooked me up with a lead to a gentleman by the name of Jeffrey, who eventually got this set up. I'm super excited about this. Living in Central Florida and having a 4-speed transmission without overdrive, for that matter, does not really work so well. Most of the roads here are 45 and up. And even with a lot of our surface streets, non-highways, it's 55. And so if I feel like rattling around with my Spitfire on any of those roads, I'll be pegging it at 4,000 RPM just trying to do that. So that's where this transmission comes into play. This transmission comes out of a 1970 Spitfire, ironically, same as the car, but it has the D-type overdrive on it from Laycock. I got this transmission, like I said, from a gentleman named Jeffrey. He's in PA, and it took a little bit of effort to try to get it down here, but I was able to go ahead and make that happen with the help of my wife's uncle. So thank you, Bill, and just some time and patience waiting for it to arrive. The transmission needs a full restoration. It needs to be fully rebuilt. It has been cracked open before, and it looks like it will need a set of synchros and obviously a gasket kit. But I plan on getting to all of that and diving in and tearing it apart and rebuilding it. So let me go ahead and give you a quick view of the transmission. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But we also want to talk about this transmission, because this one's got a little bit of a story behind it too. So this transmission is the transmission that obviously came with the Spitfire when I bought it. And all I've really done on it is I popped the top off. I went ahead and checked it out inside, replaced the seals. I did replace the bushings in the remote because those were really loose and bad. And I also went ahead and I replaced the tail shaft here because that actually had a crack in it. I tried to replace the mounts for it, and when I did so, it sheared off a bolt inside of the aluminum tail shaft, and then I ended up trying to get that out, which led to a crack, and it became a mess. So we actually have a local shop around here that was able to go ahead and hook me up with an old one for about 50 bucks. But the cool thing about this transmission that I didn't realize, that this is obviously not the original transmission that came with this car. Remember, the car's in 1970. This transmission came out of a Spitfire 4. And the way that I know that is because when I go ahead and I clean off and I take a look at the serial number here, you'll see it's an FC1037. So what that tells me that this came off of one of the original Spitfire 4s, which is just super duper cool. And that explains why it has the aluminum bell housing. Also, this transmission does not have a synchro in first gear, and this one should. This should have a synchro in first through fourth. So definitely this is a big upgrade in terms of the transmission itself, especially with obviously the overdrive there, but more so because of the additional synchro. So what I'm thinking to do is that I'm going to go ahead and probably take the aluminum bell housing from this, put it on here. I'll keep both, obviously. And I take this transmission and I'll probably end up just storing it in the attic or something and just not doing anything with it because, frankly, it's a good transmission. It's perfectly fine. Just doesn't have the overdrive. But then I'm going to also, do the swap, and I'll save a couple of pounds, obviously, by going from the steel or the cast one to the aluminum. So that'll definitely help me out, for all the SCCA trial runs I'll be doing and time trials. Right. So, yeah, that's that transmission. Pretty cool story. I had no idea, and it was Jeffrey, actually, the guy who sold me the Overdrive transmission, that pointed out that it had an aluminum bell housing. And I frankly just had no idea. I just thought they were all like that, but apparently it's a pretty rare thing. So, pretty stoked about that. I should be able to swap them over, though, and make it work. We'll see. So, this guy does not really have a lot of gearbox fluid in it, so I'm not going to really do very much with it. I'm not going to hook it up or anything. But one thing I wanted to do, it was just to kind of test it, was to see how the gears were. And so, I know with the remote being a bit loose, it's kind of hard to get a good gauge. But this should be neutral. This is reverse, so we know we got a good reverse. Neutral. That should be first. Or, actually there, that's first. And you see how when I spin it, the input shaft shoots out a little bit. I don't know what to think about that. So if you have any idea or suggestions, let me know. I don't know if that's an indicative of a wear component or an issue. I guess really can't find out until I take it apart. But that's interesting. So then we got second. This is supposed to be third. And then that should be fourth. So I think I have all the gears, but again, it's hard to tell because the remote is so loose and wobbly. So I don't know. I'll see if I can maybe tighten up the remote a little bit to get a little better action out of it before I start tearing down the transmission itself. Because I kind of want to know, you know, do all the gears exist? I mean, I don't doubt that they don't, but kind of what condition things are in. Jeffrey told me that the transmission would definitely need to have the synchros replaced, which is fine. And then obviously just a full rebuild, which should be pretty straightforward. He said if you just follow the user manual or the rebuild book, it's pretty easy. Considering what I've done on the rest of the car, I think I should be able to handle it. But that's what we got. So that's the big announcement. I know it's not crazy, but it is pretty exciting to me. I'm really excited about this because with this Overdrive gearbox and the twin HS2 SU carburetors, small journal 1300 engine, I think this is going to be a pretty nice little combination. I really can't think of a whole lot else outside of maybe fuel injection or something like that that could make this car any better. The rear end does have an area of opportunity. I don't know what the actual rear end, the differential's gear ratio is. I want to do a little more research on that because that may be something that I'll have to change. As far as getting this adapted to fit to this car, there will be definitely some modification that will have to be made. I'll have to go ahead and put on a different plate over here for the transmission to go ahead and support it. It'll be a different mount, and I'm going to have to shorten the drive shaft. So I'm going to look into either shortening the drive shaft or just buying a new replacement drive shaft that is set correctly for this type of transmission. They're about $200 or so bucks, and I don't know if I can find a machine shop to balance and shorten a drive shaft for that amount or less. Tough to say, but that's kind of where we're at with it. I'll end up having to buy a kit to go ahead and refurbish it and all that. It'd probably be a few $100, but I think that this is going to make the car a whole lot more streetable, especially here in Florida, where pretty much if you're not doing 60 miles an hour, you're going to get passed by everybody. You know, you don't want to be a hindrance on the road. So that's it. One other thing I wanted to touch on too is the car's name. The car's name has been Tanker since the beginning. And now that I have Raptor liner laid on it, which you'll see in the next video, it's really starting to come together and it's starting to look good. I got color on the car and I'm looking at it now, it's right in front of me, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I have been thinking long and hard about trying to find a different name for the car because I just don't feel Tanker is an appropriate name for a car that's come this far. So, thinking about it, I came up with a new name. And this car gonna have scars. There's no question about it. And it's going to show its history, and it's going to show that it's been rode hard and put away wet, and it's, you know, got all the war wounds to show for it. So I was thinking back to Game of Thrones, and I was thinking about different names and the heroes in the show, and because I mean they all obviously over the series of that show gained a lot of scars from, you know, being in various battles, and the one that stuck out to me the most was Arya. I like the name Arya, and to me, this car does kind of represent Arya in a little bit. Started out as a beautiful car, had a lot of battles, got scars along the way, and is a nimble and quick character, or in this case, car. So from now moving forward, the car's name is going to be Arya. So if you have any other ideas or suggestions, let me know, but I'm kind of stuck on Arya. I like it. Let me know what you think in the comments. So with that though, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and for subscribing. If you haven't done so already, definitely do go ahead and subscribe. Click the bell to get those post notifications. And we'll be seeing you in the next video when I'll be laying out the Raptor liner. It's already done. It looks beautiful. I just wanted to get this transmission one out for you first. So remember, when working on your project car, don't be that dreaded previous owner. Cheers.